Hey, what's up, guys? I have a Opinel knife here. It's a traditional French knife. I did a video on this in the past, but I really wanted to remake that video now that I have a better camera and you can hear me a little better. The audio in my original videos, my first, I don't know, 50 or so videos was pretty crappy. But anyway, towards the end of this video, I'm going to give you a lot of history behind this knife. I'm going to leave it to the end because, to be honest, not everyone's interested in the history. Even though I find it fascinating, and some of you might as well, I'm going to keep it towards the end, okay? But basically, I'm just going to do another review on this Opinel knife. And like I said, I just really wanted to add the history lesson at the end there because I find it very fascinating. And this specific knife is very rich in history. But anyway, I have a number 8 Opinel here. Like I said, it's a French knife. It's been around for about 100 years. Actually, a little bit over 100 years. Very, very simple design here. You have a solid one-piece wooden handle. Okay, you have a channel milled out there, but that's one piece of solid wood. This specific one is a walnut, although Opinel does carry a bunch of different models with different types of woods and different options, as well as having a stainless steel blade or a carbon steel blade. Speaking of the blade, very simple utilitarian design here. A little bit of a clip point. Full flat ground, okay, and then you have the traditional V-grind for your secondary bevel there. Excellent slicer, they come nice and sharp. You have a nail nick on here. That little cutout's called a nail nick, and basically so you get your fingernail in there to start it. There's enough blade protrusion where you can just pinch it, it's no big deal, but if you don't want fingerprints, just use your thumbnail to get that started, and then you can open it up. The bolster here has a collar around it. Basically, you have the metal bolster that's holding the, with the pivot pin that's holding the blade connected to the handle. But then you have this, basically a metal sleeve around it, okay, or I call it a collar, and it rotates freely, okay, back and forth. I mean, it's not loose or anything. There's enough tension on there where once you, leave it, it's not going to move around. But basically, you can see there when the collar is lined up so that the channel is free, you can open and close the blade. Okay, there's nothing in the way. But when you rotate the collar, and it doesn't matter whether you do it clockwise or counterclockwise, it'll work the same. You can see that the metal butts up against the bottom of the tang here. Okay, that prevents the blade from moving. That locks it in. You can see the progressive slope. Okay, it starts off real low right here, and then it gets higher and higher. So basically, you're wedging that metal up against the bottom of the tang. Okay, and that locks the blade in, and it's extremely effective in that. It's not going to close. Okay, very, very strong design. Very simple, but very effective. Now you can also do this, if you see the notch on the bottom here, the notch cut out in the bottom of the collar, that allows the blade to be locked in the closed position. By rotating this, now it's blocking and putting pressure on the top of that tang, okay, preventing it from opening. Okay, if you don't want it to open your pocket or backpack or wherever you're storing this, it's very secure. It's not going to lock. So very simple design, but extremely, extremely effective. And that's good. Simple is better for the most part. It has a really nice, beautiful look. Obviously, the wood, with the polished bolster there and the kind of satiny blade. It's a classy look. It's a really classy looking knife. Tapers down the bottom here a little bit just for grip. So it's not going to slip out of your hands very easily. Very smooth. It's polished up really nice. The wood on here has a really nice finish on it. Very comfortable to hold in the hand. Of course, they do make different sizes. They have a number 2 to a number 13. And this is a number 8. Like I said, this gives you, this is actually a very popular model, the number 8, because of its size. It's a good utility size, not too big, not too small. I'll give you the specs here in just a second. But I just want to explain this number system. The smallest model is a number 2, and the number 2 is like this big. It's a keychain model. They, literally has a little chain and a split ring for your keys. Originally, they had a number 1 way back in the day, but I guess it was just way too small. They discontinued it. I don't know when. They also had a number 11, which I have no idea why they discontinued that, but again, they got rid of the number 1 and the number 11. So now they have number 2 through 13, obviously minus number 11. Now, the lower the number, the smaller. So it's a very easy system to go by. Okay, if you have a number 5, it's going to be smaller than a number 8, obviously. So, as far as looking for different model sizes, you can find this information online pretty easily. I believe Opinel has their own website as well. But you get the general idea. If a number 8 seems too small for you, go for a number 9 or get a number 10, Now, the number 13 is kind of a novelty size. That came out in 1955. And the number 13 is a beast. For the most part, they're about $100, but it's 20 inches overall. It's literally the exact same design here, but it's 20 inches the overall length, and it has a 9-inch blade. And I believe that one actually has a hole in the bottom. It comes with a leather thong lanyard as well, because for that size, you might end up chopping and doing stuff like that. It's more of a novelty knife, but it is functional. You can use it. I'm sure some people out there actually do. But anyway, that's the number system and how that works, just so you know. But like I said, the number 8 is pretty popular for its size, good utility size, and for the pocket. Not too big, not too small. I guess if this was porridge, Goldilocks would be eating it up. It's also very lightweight, extremely lightweight, because all you have basically is a wood handle and a little bit of metal here for the bolster and the sleeve, and then of course the blade. This one here, the number 8, comes in at 1.6 ounces. That is very light. 1.6 ounces for a 3 1/4 inch blade. Definitely a lightweight. And by the way, I didn't give you the specs yet, did I? The blade is 3 1/4 inches. The handle here, or closed position, including the handle to the top of the bolster here, is 4 1/4 inches, making this 7.5 inches open overall length. So again, good size for me. You can see in my hand it fits good. If you have large hands, you might want to get a larger one, and if you have smaller ones, go smaller. That's what's so cool about this, is that they have a lot of different sizes to choose from. So also different wood finishes and stuff like that as well. This one happens to be an oak handle on here. I used to have one of their beechwood ones, which originally the very first model was made in beechwood and had a carbon steel blade. And over the years, they've obviously added to that, and they've offered different things like the stainless steel blade. And by the way, if you don't know, if you have a carbon steel or a stainless, this one happens to be stainless. And the reason I know is because it says inox underneath Opinel, and inox translates to stainless. So if that's questionable to you and you have an Opinel knife and you don't know which one you have, if it says inox, you got the stainless one. If it doesn't, you have the carbon steel. So that's a real simple way to figure that out. But anyway, now I'm going to get into a little bit of the history lesson on this. And let's actually go back to the marking on here. Alright, it says Opinel, inox, and then there's your logo, your Opinel logo. Now originally they just had the logo. At some point they started adding the word Opinel. But originally, like I said, they just had this logo here, and if I turn it, so you see it like this, you can maybe see a little bit better. Basically it's a hand with 2 fingers pointing to a crown. Now, this, it's not just some design that someone made up. Originally, the hand comes from the arms, the coat of arms. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a European tradition to have a coat of arms, which represents maybe a family name or a region, stuff like that. But the hand on there comes from the arms of Saint Jean de Marine, which is the actual town that the Opinel knife was invented in, and that was in 1890 by Joseph Opinel. Now the little crown, represents the coat of arms from Savoy, okay, the region in France which this knife is made. So in combination, it basically says the town and the region where this was invented. So that's a pretty interesting little fact there. Again, little view on that logo. So, I just find that stuff interesting. And by the way, if you go down to the town, again, Saint Jean de Marine, I hope I'm saying that right, but they have a museum, an Opinel museum, where you can go check this stuff out and see some of the originals, and it sounds really fascinating. I would love to go there. Unfortunately, I can't afford to travel to France, but if you're going to France anytime soon, or if you happen to live in France, anywhere near the Savoy region, I would definitely recommend checking it out if you have not already. But anyway, like I said, I mean, this was invented in 1890. I believe production actually started 1895, somewhere around there. So it's been going for more than 100 years strong. And I read online that in World War II, the beginning of World War II, there was 20 million sold. So I can't even imagine how many are sold up to today. But millions and millions of these all around the world. very affordable, very simple design, very, very fascinating. Like I said, the very original models had the beechwood handles, and it had the carbon steel blade there as well. And like I said, it's well known around the world. If you talk to most knife people, and I'm not just like today's tactical, people who just like tactical knives and that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about people who have been into knives for many years and are into all different kinds of knives and every kind of aspect of the cutlery world. You say Opinel and they know what you're talking about. It's a very widely known knife. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a little bit of history there. I think it's very fascinating. Um, just the whole history behind it. It is a beautiful little knife and just so affordable. I mean, anyone can pick this up. $12 anywhere online. Pretty much everywhere you look, it's going to be $12 to $15. Definitely worth adding to your collection. Doesn't matter what kind of knives you collect. It's a good one to have, whether you're just displaying it or if you're actually using it. And I know guys who have been using this as their EDC knife for years. It's what they carry in their pocket, and it works. And they just keep sharpening up, and it never breaks. One little note with these Opinels, because they do have a natural wood handle, sometimes, depending on weather or conditions, such as if you live by an ocean, you have very humid types of environments, maybe jungle type environment, or anywhere really in the world that is very humid all the time and the air is constantly like really wet. The wood will swell a little bit. Just a little note there. If you live in a humid environment, the wood will swell. It might be just a little bit hard to get the blade out. It might seem really stiff. Okay. Very simple solution is to rub your handle down with some kind of wood sealant. You can use some kind of wax or linseed oil or just something to basically seal in the pores so that they don't, suck up all that moisture. So just something to note there. But anyway, the French Opinel, definitely a classic, definitely one of my favorite all-time affordable knives, and I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and a little bit of a history lesson there. There's more information online if you're more fascinated in this and you want to learn more about it. There's a lot more that has to be said that I didn't say because, to be honest, I just can't remember it all. I only jotted down a couple things on my notes, but it is a fascinating history. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time. Take care.